طيب السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Should we always do هجران to the people of the bid'ah? طيب بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله أما بعد. So this issue, the response to it will take two things. The first thing is, what is al-hujran? And the second thing is, I need to respond to the question, should we always do it without any conditions, without anything, and so, or are there conditions and so on that we need to look at? So, as for the first part, al-hujran, in short, is that you leave, or that you dismiss, you could say, that you ignore or so. So what the question means is, should we always leave the people of Bid'ah, not respond to their salam, not speak to them, not sit with them, and so on? This is the question. طيب. Now before I respond, I've seen a lot of people take this take the athar of the Salaf in this in a literal sense, which is that they would say this guy's mubtadi' and this guy stood with a mubtadi' and so on. طيب. And then someone comes and says, Wallahi, from the funny thing is that I've seen some of those who would be called from the madakhila, some of them said to them that this sheikh stood with a Shi'i, this sheikh stood with an Ash'ari, and he smiled at his face or so. طيب. And he does this why? He does this not because he genuinely believes that this is misguidance, but because he doesn't like that sheikh, because that sheikh doesn't agree with his desires. So he, from the start, Aslan wants to dismiss his knowledge, wants people not to follow him, and so on. So he wants to find anything to make people go away from him. So when he finds something like this, he cannot believe it. It's like he found a gem. طيب. And this, wallah musta'an, is from the great catastrophes of our time. طيب. So after we've had this out of the time, or actually before that, and the way that you know that he actually knows that this issue isn't as he makes it seem, is that when his mashayikh sit with Ash'aris or Shia or so, he doesn't say, look at this guy, he's an Ikhwani, look at this guy, he's a Sururi, or so. But so subhanAllah, it just applies to those whom he aslan doesn't like. And this is from the nifaq, the hypocrisy. طيب جيد. Now that we have that out of the way, what is the ruling on this? Do we always leave the people of bid'ah, or are there conditions, exceptions, and so on? Before so the first thing is that there's no doubt that the Salaf ordered that one doesn't listen to the people of bid'ah, doesn't respond to their salam, doesn't speak to them, doesn't sit with them, doesn't let their kid or so listen to or study with them, right? All of this, there's no doubt about all of this. طيب. And that the Salaf, the Sahaba and the Tabi'een and Atba'at Tabi'een and so have said this. And this is in majority of the books of the Sunnah, like Sunnah al-Khallal, Ibana, Sharia. Also we went through this in al-Ibana al-Sughra, in the book of Ibn al-Waddah as well, and so on. So there's no doubt that this is established, but are there conditions and exceptions to it. This is the question. And to this we say that yes, this is not always the case. And this is a response to those who said, look, I didn't want to mention names, but I guess we could just mention names. Those who said, like, look, Mahir al-Fahl stands with Shi'i, this guy stands with Ash'ari, Muhammad ibn Shamsuddin smiled at a Maturidi or so, right? They say this because they don't like that person himself. It's not like, wow, I used to love this person so much, and because of this, he is now the worst person on the earth. It's not like that. It's, I hate this person, and I want in any way possible, to find something that I can take against him. This is how they think, and not that, wow, this person is so good. Oh no, he did this, so now he's the worst human on the earth. No. And this is how it should be. This is how it should be, that I love this person, and then he did something that deserves for him to now be the worst person. As an example, let's take an example. So someone who writes books on tafsir, who explains the ahadith and so. He explains the ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, writes books on tafsir. Books, not just one book. Right? He writes a lot of books on tafsir. One tafsir with the simple for beginners, one tafsir with the athar and so. طيب. And then he comes and commits shirk. How it should be is that at this point, وَلَقَدْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ وَإِلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ لَإِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ. If you commit shirk, all your deeds are gone. So here he becomes a kafir. If he does shirk or an act of kufr, he becomes a kafir. Of course, we have shurut and mawana, and so that's not what I'm speaking about here. But let's say he was one of the biggest scholars of Islam, and then he became a kafir. Now he became from one of the best people alive to one of the worst people alive in 1 second. So now, I should change my view on him. The guy that I loved, because this is the love for the sake of Allah. And if you truly love this person for the sake of Allah, because he defends the Quran and defends the Sunnah and defends Islam and so on, then as soon as he commits such a huge crime, your view on him should change, and no longer see him as this best person and so on. This is just one thing I wanted to mention before the response. And the reason I mentioned this is because some people, if you do every kind of shirk, they will excuse you with having too much knowledge and being too ignorant at the same time, just because they love you so much. And this is proof that their love is not for the sake of Allah. Their love is not for the sake of Allah, but they love that which they took from their forefathers, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the mushrikeen. بل قالوا إن وجدنا آباءنا على we found, but they said, the mushrikeen, we found our forefathers on this, and we are guided in their steps. So this is how they are. We found our forefathers glorifying these people. So now, if he does the worst thing on the planet, which is to insult Allah or to commit shirk or so, or to insult the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam or so, then that doesn't change, and it's just a mistake and so on. But if someone who we don't like does even 0.00001% of that, like he smiles at an Ash'ari, or he greets an Ash'ari, then he becomes the worst human being that exists. And again, this is, as we said, from the big hypocrisy. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. لا إله إلا الله. طيب. Now that we have that out of the way, the people of the Bidah, in the end, we need to look at the maqasid of the Sharia. When you don't speak to him, when you don't respond to his salam, when you do this and that which is mentioned in the books of the Salaf. And let's mention as an example from the book of Ibn al-Waddah. Ibn al-Waddah here mentions page 169. This is the print of our Sheikh Tariq ibn Sa'id al-Qahtani. He said, Babu, yani the chapter of the reports about those who said that one should not sit with the people of Bid'ah and should not walk with them and should not mix with them. طيب, all of this, when we do this, why do we do this? Yani, what is the reason? What is the goal behind us doing this? The main goal is to make them know that you're wrong, so that they come back. So that they come back to the Sunnah. طيب. So when that is gone, or when the opposite of that is the case, then you don't do this. Yani, as an example now, an Ash'ari, if you speak to him, then he might, or if you speak to him and talk to him in a calm way, then the chance that he comes back to Islam is a lot higher than if you were to insult him, or not insult, sorry, but if you were just to not speak to him, right? طيب, maybe another Ash'ari. He, as an example, is not like the first. He will never come back to, or you feel he will never come back to the truth. You feel that if you invite him to Islam 24 hours, he will not respond. You feel that he knows that he is wrong, but he doesn't want to accept it, and he is arrogant and so on. This person, why would I waste my time inviting him to Islam? I could rather go in that time, if I will not invite others to Islam, I can go and seek knowledge. Even if I don't want to do anything, if I want to seeking knowledge or salah or so, I can spend the time with my family or so, rather than that I go and give da'wah to someone that I know he will not care. طيب. So in this case, it is better that you don't sit with them. And also, another thing that we need to say is, if someone doesn't have enough knowledge, and what we're saying here now is about students of knowledge in the Sharia that can respond to the doubts of these people, that can give and take and so on, and discuss and respond to them, give them proof and so on. As for if someone hasn't studied, he maybe just read ثلاث الأصول and القواعد الأربعة, took a small sharh a year ago, this is not the type of person who will go and talk to them. So in this case, it is he must stay away from them, and this is why we took in Al-Ibān al-Sughra that one of the tabi'een, he said that I see my son playing with the animals or so, or I think he said the birds, نعم, is more beloved to me than that I see him sit with a mubtadi'. Why? Because when he plays with the birds or so, with birds or with cats, or then okay, he's playing, he's not doing anything that will make him gain or so, right? يعني of course he could get good deeds from the bab يعني that he, you know, ال 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 الراحمون يرحمهم الرحمن. But in general, he's not doing a thing that is for his akhirah. But that he does that, wallahi al-azim, is uncountable. Millions and billions and trillions and infinite times better than that he sits with a mubtadi'. Because when he sits with a mubtadi', I don't know, will he listen to him, will he take from him, will he become like him, will he get affected? Even if he doesn't become like him, he might get affected by some of his thoughts or so. And this is even worse when you deeply get affected by a belief or so and you don't even know it, because then you cannot fix it. When you say I'm well, if someone now would come and say I am an Ash'ari, like, we know you're an Ash'ari, but if someone sat with the Ash'aris and he's affected by their doubts deep inside of him, and he might not even know that, but deep inside of him he still doubts Islam because of the doubts that he took from those Ash'ari. So in short, in these cases one should extremely stay away from that he sits with the people of the Bidah. So this is in this case where he doesn't have knowledge or so. And this is why you don't sit except with those whom you trust. And this is why the Salaf narrated in the books that from the signs that Allah wants good for a person is that when he is still a young boy, Allah guides him to someone who is upon the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that he teaches him. Because when he sees someone on the sunnah and he follows him and he learns upon him, khalas, because the child is upon that which he starts upon. He's upon that which he was on when he was young. This is in the majority of the cases. طيب. And that is why one always has to take care of his kids. And this is why we always say don't go to America or so. If you don't go, but even the fact that you shouldn't go is even stronger if you have kids, because even if you don't know, even if you send them to the most Islamic school, they will get affected by the place where they live. Besides that, so now we spoke about those who don't have knowledge, those who aren't scholars or students of knowledge, and so on. Now we go back to speaking about students of knowledge or scholars. Those that won't, inshallah ta'ala, will not be affected by the doubts. Should these people go and sit with the people of the bid'ah? So here we said it goes back to it comes back to the case. Is this person of the bid'ah, when you speak to him, do you expect from that he comes back to the sunnah, that you make him think again, or do you see that he is so far? طيب, this is a very important thing to take care of. Do you see that if I speak to him calmly, in a calm way, in a nice way, that he will come back to the sunnah? Or do you see that he aslan is already far away and he knows that the sunnah is correct, but he doesn't want to come to it or so, right? All of these people exist. So barakallahu fikum, this is basically what we say. But the most important thing is, if you don't have knowledge, don't listen to the people of the bid'ah. And this doesn't just include the people of the innovations in Islam. This also includes the people of Ashirk. Don't go some people, or a lot of people, they, especially when I was a long time ago, when I would more focus on responding to atheists and the Nasara and so, you don't know how many people would come to me, tell me, يعني, I'm affected by this doubt. I saw this guy's video. Why did you see it when you don't have knowledge? And we've spoken about this tons of times, and we will speak about it still, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, tons of times, because this is a very important thing to speak about. You don't know how many young people from those that were born in an Islamic country, so how many people of them were affected by doubts because they went and they listened to some of the Christians or some of the atheists or so. So we say, don't go and listen to them unless you know that you can respond bi'idhnillah, unless you are a scholar. And also, some people, what they also do is that they go and they make clips, responding to Christians, this and that and that. And if you ask him about the easiest thing in Tawheed, he doesn't know. This is not how it should be. So some people, they go and watch responses to the Nasara the entire day, and then he goes and watches the videos of the Nasara to respond to them. طيب, now you might know the responses. I'm speaking about those who do this without any previous knowledge, without having studied the Aqidah or the fiqh al-ahkam or so. طيب, you might do this. You might do this with a good intention. You think that this is for the sake of Allah, and that you want to do this, that you want to defend Islam and so on. But to defend Islam, you need to seek knowledge first so that you can defend Islam. Because how will you defend a thing that you do not know aslan? طيب. Now, as I was saying, so now someone, he wants to defend Islam against the Nasara. So he goes and what does he do? He watches all of the responses against the Nasara. He reads books responding to the doubts of the Christians. طيب. So now he has the responses to these doubts in the head, but he just repeats them. He doesn't actually understand them, because to understand them, he needs the foundation of his knowledge that he will not get except through studying Aqidah, fiqh, usul al-fiqh, usul al-tafsir, tafsir, reading the books of hadith with the shaykh, and so on. So when he loses that, he will lose everything. And how many people have we seen who went and wanted to respond to the doubts without knowledge, and now they have, عياذ بالله, left responding to the doubts, left caring about the deen and so on, or some of them have left Islam. So all of this comes from a bad base. If you build a house, you need this house to be stable so that you can build on top of it. So if that is not stable, this is as if I would build a house. I would build it on a stick. Down, below the house, I would put 2 or 3 sticks and build on top of it a 20-story house. If any small wind comes, or any atheist comes with, and he, gives it a hit, then the entire 20-story building will collapse. So this is why this, because what is at the bottom is not strong. And the correct thing is that what you do is that the bottom always needs to be stronger than that which is on top. And if you look at big towers, you'll find that they look like a big triangle that is like stretched to the top. you'll find this in the very big towers. Why? Because the bottom is the biggest one. That which is above it is slightly smaller but still big, and so on. So now my foundations of knowing is the pillars of Islam, pillars of Iman, the arkan of the Shahada, all of these things, of the Salah, of the Zakah, of the Siyam, and so on, these are the usul. Of course, yani, the Shahadatain, and so include the issues in the i'tiqad, the issues that are against the Asha'ira, yani, that you are on the correct aqidah in all of the types of tawheed. طيب. And then what is above that has to be stronger. طيب. So then what is above that has to be stronger. Like, as an example now, I want to know the proofs for my aqidah. I want to know the proofs and how to defend it. Then I want to know the aqidah of the people that don't agree with my aqidah. Where is the point where we do not agree, and so on. Then what is the ruling on this group of people? Are they kuffar? Are they mubtadi'ah? Are they this? Are they that? Right? Then how do I respond to them? So now when you come and you respond to these people, you will take it from the top, and then if the top shakes, everything that is under it will still stay strong. So if someone comes and takes the top, everything below it will still stay, but he cannot take that which is at the usul, the foundations upon which you did all of that. And inshallah ta'ala, if you are this strong and you care about the usul and so on, then no one will be able to take aslan the things on the top bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. I hope everything is clear. I don't know how we made this into 27 minutes يعني. الله المستعان. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.